Rain hammered the rusted roof of Langley House like 1,000 tiny fists, angry and relentless. The wind shrieked through broken windows, carrying with it the scent of mold, wet earth, and something older, something rotten. Evan Blake hadn't planned on ending up here. His car had hydroplaned on Route 73, spun twice, and wedged itself into a ditch like a snapped bone. No bars on his phone, no passing cars, no choice. Langley House loomed a few yards off the road, veiled in a curtain of rain, half-eaten by ivy and time. Everyone in Maple Hollow knew the stories. Hell, Evan had written a few of them. Local lore for the curious. Stories about the father who'd murdered his children in the attic. The girl who sang lullabies long after her throat was slit. The lights that came on at night even though the house had no power. They said the house was hungry. But Evan was cold-soaked and too pissed at himself to care. He pushed open the front door with a groan loud enough to wake the dead. Inside, the smell hit him like a punch. Damp wood, moldy plaster, and that same acrid rot. The floor creaked under his boots like a whisper saying go back. But he didn't. He lit his Zippo, the flame a lonely eye in the darkness. Shadows stretched like claws on the walls. Rain bled through the cracked ceiling in slow, steady drops, like the ticking of a very old, very patient clock. In the living room, a child's doll sat upright on a mold-eaten couch. Its porcelain face was cracked. One glass eye was missing. The remaining one stared at Evan like it knew him. Keep moving, he told himself. Just a place to wait out the rain. Upstairs, he found a room where the ceiling hadn't caved in completely. Dust thick enough to choke settled on every surface. A rocking chair moved slightly in the corner, though the air was still. It made no noise. Evan sank onto the edge of the bed, breathless from the climb and the cold. Water squelched in his boots. Then he heard it. A thud. From the attic. He froze, listened. Another thud, closer this time. He remembered the old tales. The father who went mad and kept his children locked in the attic for weeks, until they stopped screaming, until they started whispering. It's just raccoons, he thought. Maybe a squirrel. He clutched the Zippo tighter and stood. The ladder to the attic groaned like a coffin lid. He climbed, one rung at a time. The attic hatch creaked open, and the smell that greeted him was worse than the rest of the house combined, sweet and putrid. The attic was darker than pitch. His flame danced, revealing child-sized shapes huddled in the corners. Dolls, dozens of them, arranged in a circle, their faces cracked, their eyes mismatched as if they'd been rebuilt. Some had teeth, real teeth. At the center was a wooden chair, a high chair, and a small pile of something wrapped in cloth. Evan knelt. The cloth was stained. The smell hit him again, hard and nauseating. He pulled back a corner. A small skull stared up at him. That's when the whispering started. Not from outside. From inside his ears. Daddy. Evan stumbled back. Dolls shifted slightly without being touched. One fell over and giggled. He turned to flee, but the attic hatch was closed. He hadn't touched it. Behind him, the high chair creaked, slowly, like something was climbing into it. Evan pounded on the hatch, screamed, but the wind and rain swallowed every sound. The last thing he saw before the Zippo sputtered out was the row of dolls turning their heads in unison, smiling with mouths full of baby teeth. When the sheriff found the house the next morning, Evan's car was still in the ditch. The house was still dark, still dead. Except one room. In the attic, a single flame burned inside a Zippo lighter. Surrounding it, a ring of dolls. And in the high chair sat a new one. Porcelain face, cracked, and eyes that looked a lot like Evan Blake's.